I always believed death would come quietly. A fading breath. A warm hand holding mine. My mother singing the lullaby she used to hum when nightmares crawled beneath my skin. But death didn't come for me the night my pack burned. He did. The alpha whose name mothers whispered to frighten stubborn pups. The warlord whose wolf was said to tear through stone. The man whose eyes were cold enough to silence even the moon. Ravian. The alpha who slaughtered my pack. I still remember the smell, iron and smoke. I still remember the feeling, breath ripped out of my chest as I watched warriors fall one by one. I still remember my mother's last command. Run. So I ran. Until a shadow caught me. And now, here I am. Standing in the dim throne room of his fortress, wearing torn clothes and dried blood on my skin. 2 guards hold me by the arms, but I don't need their strength. My legs shake on their own. Ravian stands before me, tall and carved like his body was formed out of night and cruelty. His long black hair is tied behind his head, showing the sharp, merciless lines of his face. His eyes, moonlit silver, watch me with an unreadable calm. I used to imagine monsters as shapeless things. But they have a shape, a face, a voice. His boots echo as he walks closer, each step a warning. He stops in front of me, staring down, his scent rolling over me, dark cedar, storm winds, and something dangerously primal. My wolf trembles. I hate that. He lifts my chin with 2 fingers, not gently. Where is your defiance now, little Omega? His voice is deep, smooth, like velvet hiding a blade. I force myself not to look away. I wasn't given a chance, I whisper, hating the shake in my tone. You were given the same chance the rest of your pack had, he says. Fight, lose, die. My stomach twists. He knows exactly what he did. He turns his back to me, steps away, and says it like it's nothing. Marry me, or join your family in the dirt. My breath stops. The guards release me at his command. I stand alone in the vast cold room, staring at him. My heart pounds so loudly I'm sure he can hear it. A laugh escapes me, sharp, broken. You're joking. He faces me again, expression unchanging. I don't joke. Why me? I demand. You've taken everything. Why take my freedom too? Because I want peace, he says. A lie. A lie so smooth it almost sounds like truth. Peace? He raised my home to ash. My voice cracks. So you'll force me into your bed for the sake of peace? His gaze lowers to my trembling hands. I'm not forcing you. The pause. You have a choice. Just marry you or die, I spit. Exactly. My nails dig into my palms. I want to scream that I choose death, that I'd rather burn than belong to him. But then I see it. My mother's face. My father's hand on my head. Their smiles. And a whisper forms inside me, cold and sharp. Survive. Destroy him from the inside. I lift my chin. I'll marry you. For a moment, just a moment, his eyes flash with something dark and satisfied. Good. He steps forward and stops right in front of me, close enough that our breaths mingle. I hate how my chest tightens. How my wolf curls in on itself, trembling. We wed at dawn. I snort. You're not even giving me a day? His eyes narrow. A day gives you time to run. I open my mouth to throw back a retort, but then it hits me. His scent. It crashes over me without warning, warm and consuming, hitting every nerve in my body. I stagger. Ravian's eyes sharpen instantly. He grabs my wrist, steadying me. Your pheromones are spiking, he murmurs. No, they're not. My voice breaks. Because I know what this means. I know what my body is doing. It cannot be. He leans closer, inhaling me, and something dangerous flickers across his face. You feel it too, don't you? I feel nothing, I lie. He laughs quietly, a sound that vibrates somewhere beneath my ribs. You can lie to yourself, he says softly, but not to me. I jerk my arm away and stumble back. He lets me. That's what makes it worse. I feel his eyes follow me as I retreat across the room. My breath comes fast, too fast. I hate this. I hate him. I hate my traitorous, trembling wolf. I will never be your mate, I force out. He tilts his head, studying me like prey that pretends to be fearless. You already are. I'm not. You think the bond cares about what you want? He steps toward me and instinct forces me back. The bond chooses. Not you. I'd rather die. His smile disappears. I offered you that option. Silence pulses around us. Electric. Something shifts in his expression. A shadow. Or a warning. Then he turns away. Take him to the West Wing, he orders the guards. He will sleep in my quarters until the ceremony. No. The word escapes me too fast. He looks over his shoulder, eyes glinting. I said sleep, not share a bed. Heat floods my cheeks. He sees it. I hate that he sees it. You'll stay where I can watch you, he adds. You're clever. Too clever. I don't intend to lose you hours before my wedding. He walks past me, and for a moment our shoulders brush. A shock of heat shoots through me. I flinch. He doesn't. Rest, he murmurs as he passes. Tomorrow, you become mine. The door closes behind him. My knees give out, and I sink onto the cold floor, my breath shaking out of me in violent waves. I want revenge. I want his blood on my hands. I want to make him suffer for everything he took. But beneath the rage, beneath the grief, there's something else. Something I refuse to admit. Something dangerous. Something that terrifies me more than death. My body reacts to him. Like he's my fated mate. I press my trembling hands to my face. No, this bond is a lie. The trick. A curse. I won't accept it. I won't submit to it. But when I stand again, I can still feel where his fingers touched my wrist. Steady. Unshakable. Tomorrow, I marry the monster who ended my world. And until I kill him, I have to survive him. I didn't sleep. How could I? I lay in a bed that wasn't mine, inside a fortress built on the bones of my pack. The room is too large, the sheets too soft, the silence too sharp. Every breath I take feels stolen. A guard stands outside the door. Another sits inside, expression blank, gaze fixed on me every time I move. Ravian's orders. He stays where I can watch him. I'm not a person here. I'm an asset. A risk. A soon-to-be bride to the man who murdered everyone I loved. My chest tightens. I swing my legs off the bed and stare at the moonlight spilling across the marble floor. My wolf whines softly inside me. Traitor. We're not staying here, I whisper to myself. We survive. Then we destroy him. There's no answer except the quiet thud of my heartbeat. The guard clears his throat. The Alpha said you should rest. Tell the Alpha to choke. He doesn't react. Just returns to staring at the far wall like I'm a piece of furniture. I stand and walk toward the window. The moon hangs heavy above the fortress, the same moon that witnessed the night my family died. A knock echoes through the chamber. The guard stiffens, immediately lowering his head as the door opens. Ravian steps in. My breath catches despite myself. He's dressed differently tonight. Dark ceremonial armor fitted with silver lines that trace the deadly definition of his body. His hair is tied back again, but looser, a few strands falling around his sharp jaw. His eyes sweep the room before settling on me. He doesn't speak at first. He looks, and I hate the shiver that crawls up my spine. You're awake, he finally says. I wonder why, I mutter. He ignores the sarcasm, stepping further into the room. The guard bows slightly. Alpha. Leave us. The guard doesn't hesitate, disappearing through the door and closing it behind him. My pulse jumps. We're alone. Finn. Ravian approaches slowly, like he's giving me time to run, even though we both know I can't. His scent hits me first. Dominant. My knees nearly buckle. He notices. His voice drops, low and deliberate. Your pheromones are unstable again. No, they're not. Lies, he murmurs. You tremble every time I walk near you. Maybe because you killed my family. His jaw tenses. A flicker of something, regret, moves across his face before disappearing. You'll be dressed in an hour, he says. The ceremony begins at dawn. I glare at him, hatred burning hot across my skin. You think I care about your ceremony? Your rituals? Your vows? You will. No, I snap, stepping toward him. I won't be your Omega. I won't be your mate. I won't be your... He moves faster than I can see. 1 second, I'm shouting. The next, my back is pressed against the wall, his hand braced beside my head, his breath ghosting over my lips. Heat explodes through my veins. Fear, anger, something else I cannot name. He leans in, silver eyes glowing faintly. You will be my bride, he says quietly. Not because you want to. Not because I want to. But because the bond has already chosen. I didn't choose it. No one chooses fate. And what about my parents? I spit. Was killing them fate too? His expression hardens. That war started long before you were born. That doesn't excuse what you did. His fingers curl slightly against the wall, muscles tense under his armor. No, he says softly. It doesn't. The admission shocks me. My anger falters, but only for a heartbeat. I shove him back. He lets me. Why me? I whisper. Out of everyone, you chose me. He looks at me for a long time, something unreadable flickering in his gaze. Finally he says, because your wolf called to mine. My body goes cold. No, I say instantly. No, that's impossible. Omegas react strongly to their fated alpha. He steps closer again, slower this time. Your body recognizes me. Even if your mind hates me. Then I'll rip the bond out of my body. You can try. His voice is maddeningly calm. I grit my teeth. I hope you choke on our vows. Perhaps I will, he says with a faint smirk. But you'll say them. Before I can respond, 2 attendants enter, carrying ceremonial garments, deep silver robes lined with pale threads that shimmer under torchlight. One bows. Omega, we are here to prepare you. Omega. The word hits like a slap. I want to scream that I'm not his. That I will never be his. But Ravian interrupts. Handle him carefully, he says to them. If anyone bruises him, I'll take their hand. My stomach twists. Possession. Threat. Protection. I can't tell the difference with him. He turns to leave. At the doorway, he pauses and says without looking back. Try not to run. I'd hate to bring you to the altar in chains. He leaves before I can curse him again. The attendants work in silence. They bathe me, scrub the dirt and smoke from my skin, and dress me in the ceremonial garment. A fitted robe that clings to my body, revealing far more than I want the alpha to see. They braid my hair with thin silver threads, symbols of union. The older attendant whispers softly while tightening the sash around my waist. You are trembling. I'm freezing. She meets my eyes with a knowing look. You are not. I look away. They finish and lead me out of the chamber. The corridors glow with torches, and the fortress hums with life. Warriors fill the halls, all watching me as I pass. Some curious, some sympathetic, some hostile. To them, I am the Omega who survived the massacre. The Omega their alpha chose. A symbol. Or a mistake. We reach the gates. Cold dawn air rushes over my skin. The courtyard is filled with warriors forming 2 lines. An aisle leading to a raised stone platform at the center. And he stands there. Ravian. In full ceremonial armor, a black cloak flowing behind him. He looks like a king carved out of shadow. His eyes lock onto mine instantly. My chest tightens painfully. Every step toward him feels like walking toward execution. But I keep going. I have to. The crowd lowers their heads as I approach. I don't know whether it's respect or pity. When I reach the platform, Ravian extends a hand. I don't take it. A whisper ripples through the crowd. His lips lift in a dangerous, amused curve. He lowers his hand but steps closer. So stubborn, he murmurs. It's almost admirable. Almost. Almost. The ceremony priest begins chanting, words I recognize from ancient traditions. Binding. Bonding. Ownership. My stomach churns. Ravian turns to me, voice low enough only I hear. When this is done, no one will dare touch you. You will be protected. I never asked for protection. And yet you need it. I want to hit him. Or run. Or scream. But the priest gestures. It's time. Ravian takes a ceremonial dagger, slices his palm, and offers it. Blood for blood, he says. I stare at the blade. Every memory of my pack floods my vision. Then I lift the dagger. And slice my own palm. Our blood drips onto the same stone. The bond pulses. Blinding. It slams into my chest, stealing my breath. Ravian steps forward and catches me before I fall. Our foreheads touch. His voice is barely a whisper. It's done. My vision blurs. I choke on a sob I refuse to release. I'm married. To the monster. To the alpha who killed my family. And as the bond tightens around my heart, one unbearable truth rises. I can feel his heartbeat. I can feel his breath. I can feel his wolf pressing against mine. And my traitorous body responds. I didn't sleep. Not because I couldn't, but because he didn't. The alpha sat in the single armchair across the room, still in the same black shirt from the ceremony, sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing veined forearms and scars that looked too deliberate to be accidents. His broad shoulders rose and fell steadily, calm, too calm, like a predator pretending to nap while watching its prey breathe. He didn't blink for long intervals. Didn't move. Didn't sigh. Just watched me. Every time my eyelids fluttered, heat pooled low in my stomach, traitorous, humiliating, terrifying. I hated that he could do that to me with nothing but his eyes. I pulled the sheets higher, trying to hide the way my chest trembled. Are you planning to stare at me until morning? His voice was deep and low, rough like gravel. I plan to stare at you until I understand you. I swallowed. What does that mean? It means, he said, leaning back slightly, that I want to know why the weak little Omega who should be groveling is plotting something behind those pretty eyes. My breath caught. He knew. He knew I wasn't bowing down. He knew I wasn't broken. He knew something was growing inside me, rage, vengeance, the kind of cold fire that had kept me alive all this time. But how? How long have you known? I whispered. Since the moment you looked at me after I killed your alpha. His jaw flexed. Your eyes weren't afraid. They were calculating. Cold rippled down my spine. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and the moonlight carved out the sharp lines of his cheekbones and jaw. His hair, dark tousled, fell over his forehead, giving him a deceptively soft look that contrasted violently with the menace in his posture. You're angry, he murmured, studying my face. You hide it well, but not well enough. I forced my voice steady. And what do you plan to do about it? Nothing. He said it without hesitation. I blinked. That wasn't the answer I expected. His gaze darkened, and I felt it drag across my throat, my shoulders, my chest, slow, quiet, burning. As long as you don't try to kill me, he added softly, I'll allow you to keep your little hatred. It looks good on you. I froze. He was mocking me, teasing me, testing me. My fingers clenched around the sheets. But why marry someone who hates you? He stood up. The air shifted. His presence swallowed the room as he walked toward the bed, slow, deliberate, each step a silent thunder in my ears. I instinctively moved back until the headboard dug into my spine. He stopped just inches from the mattress. Because, he murmured, your hatred doesn't scare me. My pulse hammered. His scent, cedar, smoke, something sharp, flooded the space between us. For a moment I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Couldn't understand why my body reacted as if it recognized him, as if it wanted something from him. He didn't touch me. He didn't need to. His presence was a touch on its own. You feel it, don't you? He asked softly. That pull. That heat. I bit my lip. No. Lie again, he whispered, and I'll climb into this bed and prove it to you. My entire body flashed hot. He wasn't bluffing. I turned my face away. I don't want you. You don't have to want me, he murmured. Your body already decided. My heart stuttered painfully. This wasn't fair. This wasn't right. This was the monster who murdered my family. I should have felt fear, disgust, rage, anything except the traitorous craving curling under my skin. "What are you?" I whispered. His eyes flickered with something I didn't recognize. Not malice. Not triumph. Possession. "I am your husband," he said quietly. "And the man fate tied you to long before your pack ever existed." My eyes widened. "Don't say." "Yes." He didn't hesitate. "I am your fated mate." Silence hit me like a blow. Fated mate? No, that couldn't be possible. Fate would never bind me to him. The moon goddess wouldn't be that cruel. "You're lying." The alpha's lips curved, not in humor, but in something far more dangerous. "I don't lie about things I can prove." He lifted his hand. My breath halted. His fingers hovered just above my throat, not touching, but close enough that the warmth of his skin brushed mine. My pulse jumped under his invisible touch, and his eyes darkened. "That," he whispered, "is a mate response." I squeezed my eyes shut. "Stop." But he didn't move. "Every time I get close," he said, voice low and steady, "your heartbeat changes. Your scent shifts. Your pupils dilate." He leaned closer, his breath ghosting over my ear. "You react to me like you're starving." I shivered, violently, humiliatingly. "And you know what's insane?" he whispered. "I don't dislike it." I snapped my eyes open. "Get away from me." He pulled back, but not far. "You'll come to me eventually." He said it like prophecy, not desire. "Not because I force you, but because your bond will." My jaw trembled. "I will never accept you." "Good." His voice was dark silk. "I prefer a fight." He turned away. Just like that. As if he hadn't just ripped open the world and rewritten everything I believed. Before leaving the room, he spoke without looking back. "Sleep. Tomorrow we begin your duties as my mate." "My what?" He paused at the doorway. When he finally turned his head, the shadows framed half his face. Cold, regal, terrifyingly beautiful. "I won't mark you yet," he said. "Not until you stop shaking at the thought of my touch." My breath hitched. He smiled. A slow, dangerous smile. "But I will make you want the mark." The door clicked shut. And just like that, I realized he hadn't touched me all night. But I felt marked anyway. By morning, I had accepted one thing. I couldn't let him see my fear again. If he was really my fated mate, if my own body betrayed me, then I needed to outthink him. Outsmart him. Hit him where he didn't expect. But when he opened the door at dawn, any strategy won had evaporated. He didn't knock. He didn't wait. He just walked in, hair still damp from showering, black shirt clinging to his chest, veins visible on his forearms as he tied the last button at his wrist. He looked too calm, too composed for someone who'd threatened my life 12 hours ago. "Get dressed," he said. "You're coming with me." "To where?" He didn't answer. He moved to the wardrobe, pulled open the doors, and took out a simple black outfit, soft, warm, expensive, clearly chosen for me. The sight of him holding clothes didn't weaken me, but the way he approached the bed did. Slow. Intentional. Like he enjoyed how my breath tightened. He set the clothes down beside me. "Wear these." My voice cracked. "Why?" He didn't blink. "Because today, everyone sees you as mine." Heat shot up my throat, not desire, not attraction, but rage. "I am not yours." He leaned down. Too close. His shadow swallowed me whole, and his voice brushed the shell of my ear. "You are," he said, "the moment you signed that marriage bond." I shoved him. Useless. His body didn't even sway. But something in his eyes changed. He wasn't angry. He wasn't amused. He was interested. "You still have fire," he murmured. "But you'll need it." "For what?" I snapped. "For surviving today." My stomach dropped. "What's happening today?" He straightened and walked to the door, speaking without turning. "I'm taking you to the place your pack died." Every cell in my body froze. "No," I breathed. "You can't." He looked over his shoulder. "I can," he said simply. "And I will." He took me on horseback. His wolf was too dangerous to expose near me, his words not mine. The forest air was cold, burning my lungs as we rode through the territory. Pine trees blurred past, sunlight catching on damp branches. Every time the horse shifted, my body brushed against his thigh, and the bastard didn't move away. He wasn't touching me, but he was close enough that I could feel the heat of him at my side, constant and overwhelming. "Why are we going back?" I asked, voice tight. "To make me break?" "No." "Then why?" He exhaled, slow. "Because you need to see the truth." I laughed, sharp, bitter. "The truth? You killed them." His grip on the reins tightened. A muscle jumped in his jaw. "If I wanted your pack dead," he said quietly, "I wouldn't have left survivors." "Survivors?" My heart stopped. He kept talking, voice cold. "Your alpha was hiding something. Your beta was planning something far worse. You were the only innocent." My skin prickled. "Liar." "Believe what you want," he said, eyes forward. "You'll see soon." When we reached the burned remains of my former territory, my legs almost gave out. The trees were blackened, the ground littered with ash, faint traces of blood still staining the soil. I tasted smoke in the back of my throat, a memory my body refused to forget. He stopped a few feet behind me, watching the way I trembled. "Take your time," he said softly. I hated that his voice wasn't cruel. I hated that it almost sounded gentle. I stepped forward, boots sinking into charred dirt, and my throat tightened as flashes of that night hit me. People screaming, flames rising, wolves tearing into each other, my mother collapsing at my feet. And him, standing in the center, unmoved, unbothered, unstoppable. "You murdered them," I whispered, fingers digging into the fabric of my coat. "Don't twist the story." "I didn't kill your mother," he said behind me. I spun. "Yes, you did." "No." His face was unreadable, but his voice wasn't. "She wasn't supposed to die." My chest cracked open. "She died because of you." "No," he said again, louder this time. "She died because your alpha betrayed her. I found her already bleeding out. I put her out of her pain." I staggered backwards, nearly falling. "Stop lying." He stepped toward me. "One day," he murmured, "you will beg me to tell you everything." "I'll never beg you for anything." He stopped right in front of me, close enough that his breath warmed my cheek. My pulse skittered dangerously. "Then let me show you something." He lifted his hand, and for a moment, I thought he was going to touch me. Mark me. Claim me. But he knelt. The alpha of my nightmares, the killer of my pack, the man who owned my life, kneeled in front of me, brushing aside ash until the ground underneath revealed a faint, glowing mark. A symbol. A crest. One I didn't recognize. "This," he said quietly, "led me here that night. Not revenge. Not conquest. A prophecy. One about a child of your lineage." I stared at him. "What prophecy?" He looked up at me, eyes dark, burning, but not with anger. With certainty. "One that says the Omega who carries this bloodline." He reached forward and touched my ankle. My entire body jolted. "Belongs to me." I ripped my leg back like he'd burned me. "Don't touch me." He rose slowly, dust falling from his hands, voice steady. "You're reacting again." "I'm reacting because you're a monster." "You're reacting," he said, "because you feel the bond." "I don't feel anything." "You're lying." He stepped toward me. I stepped back. He stepped again. I hit a tree. His hand lifted, not to touch me, but to rest on the tree bark beside my head, boxing me in without laying a fingers on my skin. "You want me dead," he murmured. "But you also want answers." My breathing quickened. "You hate my scent," he said. "But your body leans toward it." I squeezed my eyes shut. "Stop." "You push me away." His face lowered, lips near my ear. "But your pulse begs me to pull you back." Heat shot straight through me. "Say you feel nothing," he whispered, "and I will never touch you again." I stared at him. Burning. Shaking. Dying. "I feel nothing," I choked out. He held my gaze. "Good." He stepped back immediately. My chest caved at the loss of his warmth, and I hated myself for noticing. We're done for today, he said, turning away. Tomorrow, I take you to the man who ordered your family dead. My veins iced over. What? He glanced back, eyes sharp. You want the truth? 'Cause you'll get it. He took a few steps ahead, then stopped, and said the words that shattered everything. He's still alive. I didn't breathe the entire ride back. The Alpha didn't speak, didn't look at me, didn't react to the way my hands shook on the reins of my horse. But I felt him. Every time the wind shifted, his scent swept toward me, sharp, dark, warm, and my pulse stuttered like it couldn't decide between fear and something worse. He said my family's real murderer was still alive. He said the person who ordered the slaughter wasn't him. I wanted to call him a liar again. I wanted to spit in his face. I wanted to scream until the world split open. But another feeling slithered in, small, poisonous, undeniable. The kind that made my chest hurt more than any wound. When we returned to his territory, guards bowed as we passed. Wolves lowered their heads. Everyone moved aside for him like he was made of fire and teeth. But their eyes kept darting to me. To me. The Omega forced into marriage with the man who destroyed my world. Whispers echoed behind us. That's the mate. The one he chose. Why an Omega? Why that Omega? Each word stabbed me deeper, but the Alpha didn't seem to care. He walked ahead with long, sure strides, coat brushing against his legs, shoulders set in that cold, relaxed posture that meant he had already predicted every possible threat. I hurried to keep up. At the entrance of the main hall, he finally spoke. Eat something, he said quietly. I blinked. What? You haven't eaten since yesterday. So? I snapped. He turned his head slightly, just enough that his eyes cut toward mine. It weakens your scent. My heart stumbled. Why would you care about that? He didn't answer. His gaze lingered a moment too long before he looked away. I leave in an hour, he said. You're coming with me. Where? To the man who ordered your mother's death. I thought he would take me to a dungeon, or a battlefield, or some hidden cave where traitors were chained to rot. But no, he took me to a village. A normal one. Children ran between houses. Smoke curled from chimneys. Wheat fields swayed in the wind. Everything looked calm and alive, so painfully alive that I felt sick. This is a mistake, I whispered. My family died because of war. Not villages. He didn't slow down. Not this village. Then what? He stopped at a small cabin. A beautiful one, white wood, flowers around the porch, wind chimes made of crystals. A place that looked like peace itself lived there. But I felt fear. Deep, cold, instinctive fear. My wolf stirred uneasily in my chest. Who lives here? I whispered. The Alpha didn't answer immediately. He just looked at the door with a kind of coldness I had only seen once. The night he ended my previous life. Finally he said, Your uncle. My blood froze. I don't have an uncle. You did. He knocked once. The door opened, and my world snapped in half. Standing there was a man with my mother's eyes. Her smile. Her jawline. Her hair, streaked with silver. He looked at me exactly like she used to. Soft, relieved, like he'd been waiting for me. Except his scent told a different story. Deceit. Fear disguised as kindness. My knees nearly buckled. You're alive, I whispered. He smiled warmly. Of course I am. I've been waiting for you. Something in my chest twisted painfully. I thought you died, I said, voice cracking. I thought. You thought many things, he said gently. Things that were never true. The Alpha stepped closer, placing his hand on the door frame. You have 5 minutes, he told him, tone like ice. Tell him the truth. All of it. My uncle didn't flinch. Instead, he stepped aside. Come in, child. I walked inside before I could think. Not because I trusted him, but because I needed answers. The Alpha followed, silent as a shadow. The cabin smelled like herbs and smoke. Soft light filled the room. Everything seemed warm, comforting, familiar. Too familiar. My uncle gestured for me to sit. I didn't. Instead I asked, Did you order the attack on our pack? He didn't blink. Didn't sigh. Didn't deny it. He just smiled sadly. Yes. My stomach dropped so fast I nearly collapsed. What? You were never supposed to be there, he said gently. Your mother was supposed to hand you over. My voice shattered. Hand me over for what? He looked me straight in the eyes. For the prophecy. You were supposed to go to him. He nodded toward the Alpha standing behind me. For protection. I stumbled back. Protection? By killing my family? My uncle sighed. Your mother refused. She tried to hide you. She tried to escape fate. I grabbed the edge of the table to keep from falling. No, she loved me. She would never. She did love you, he said softly. That's why she ran. But the prophecy was already spreading. Others were coming for you. He pointed at the Alpha, was the only one strong enough to protect you. My vision blurred. By killing everyone I ever knew? My uncle didn't look remorseful. He looked logical, practical. Your pack was already dying, he said. Corrupted. They would have sold you. That's not true, I whispered. It is, he said calmly. And I made the call. Not him. He only carried out what I told him. The room spun. My throat closed. I turned to the Alpha. The monster I had sworn to destroy. The man I had blamed for everything. My voice broke. You didn't kill them out of cruelty? His gaze didn't soften. Didn't warm. Didn't apologize. No, he said quietly. But I won't ask for forgiveness. I stumbled back, choking on air. All this time, every night, I hated you. I thought you were the reason I lost everything. I was, he said calmly. But not in the way you believed. My uncle stepped forward, touching my shoulder gently. You were destined to be his mate, he murmured. Your mother tried to reject it. And destiny punished her. I slapped his hand away. Don't touch me. The Alpha stepped forward instantly. Not to comfort me, but to stand between me and the man who had lied to me my entire life. And for the first time, I realized something terrifying. The bond wasn't one-sided. Because when the Alpha growled low in his chest, warning my uncle to step back, my entire body calmed. Not because I wanted him, but because something ancient inside me recognized him. I hated it. I hated him. I hated fate. But my wolf whispered, I backed away, shaking violently. I can't do this. The Alpha caught my arm, not harshly, not possessively, but firmly enough to keep me from collapsing. We're leaving, he told my uncle. My uncle didn't argue. Didn't fight. Just smiled. It has already begun, he whispered to me. You'll feel it tonight. Feel what? I didn't ask. I couldn't. I was already drowning. The Alpha wrapped a steady arm around my waist as my legs gave out. Don't touch me, I whispered. He didn't let go. Then stand on your own. I couldn't. The world was tilting, fading, tightening around my throat. The last thing I felt was his arm lifting me. The last thing I heard. You're safe, he murmured. I blacked out before I could tell him he was lying. I woke up to darkness. Not the peaceful kind. The suffocating kind that presses on your chest and whispers that nothing will ever be the same. My body ached. My head throbbed. And the scent filling the room was unmistakable. Warm cedar. Pine after rain. I jolted upright. The Alpha was sitting at the edge of the bed, elbows on his knees, head bowed as if he'd been fighting something too heavy even for him. His voice came out low. You're awake. I swallowed hard. Don't pretend you care. He lifted his head slowly. His eyes weren't cold tonight. They were exhausted. Haunted. Human. I don't pretend, he said quietly. Not with you. I pulled the blanket to my chest, trying to shield myself from the weight of his gaze, from the memory of collapsing in his arms, from the truth my uncle had dropped in my lap like a weapon. Why didn't you tell me? I whispered. About the prophecy? About my mother? About everything? He didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe for a moment. Because you hated me enough already, he murmured. And the truth would have broken you. My throat tightened painfully. You don't get to decide what breaks me. No, he agreed softly. But I watched you lose your family, your home, your future. I didn't want to take your past from you too. My chest cracked open. What does that even mean? It means, he said, standing slowly, that I was never your enemy. He walked toward me slowly, carefully, like someone trying not to startle a wounded animal, his steps quiet but heavy enough to make my heartbeat trip. I opened my mouth to say something, anything, but before a word could leave, something warm brushed my lips and I froze, his breath mixing with mine as those large, steady hands slid around my waist and pulled me in. His mouth pressed fully against mine, firm, deliberate, stealing the air right out of my chest, kissing me without permission, not that I could pretend I didn't want it, not when my fingers were already clinging to his shirt, betraying me completely. My voice cracked. I don't love you. He gave the smallest, saddest smile I had ever seen on a man like him. I know, he said quietly. But you will. Silence settled between us, heavy and fragile. The bond pulsed under my skin, warm and alive, like something ancient waking up. Do you feel it? He asked. I nodded before I could stop myself. It was getting harder to lie. My heartbeat jumped whenever he got close. My wolf leaned toward him without permission. My breath trembled when his voice dropped low. And when he had carried me, when unconsciousness pulled me under, I had felt safe. Safe with the man I had sworn to kill. It made me sick. It made me furious. It made me ache. I hate this, I whispered. I hate what you do to me. He exhaled shakily. It was the first time I had ever seen him lose control. I hate it too. My head snapped up. He ran a hand through his hair, stepping back like he needed space from me. I didn't ask for a fated mate, he said. Especially not one who looks at me like I'm the worst thing that ever happened to him. You are, I said, voice trembling. He nodded. I know. Something in my chest twisted painfully. Then why do you want me? He lifted his eyes to mine, dark, intense, breaking with something raw. Because I can't not want you. My breath caught. When you're angry, he said softly, you're fire. When you're afraid, you're brave. When you look at me like you want to tear me apart, I feel alive. He swallowed hard. And when you cried in your sleep tonight? His voice broke. I wanted to rip the world apart for you. My heart slammed against my ribs. Stop, I whispered. Don't say things like that. I will, he murmured. If you want me to. I shook my head slowly. I don't know what I want. He stepped closer, careful, slow, waiting for a sign to stop. Then let me show you, he whispered. Not as an alpha. Not as the man who killed your pack. He lowered his voice. But as the man who would burn for you. His hand lifted. Not to grab me. Not to force me. Just to offer. Open palm. An invitation. My chest tightened, breath stuttering. I stared at his hand, the hand that had taken lives, saved mine, and carried me when I couldn't stand. I placed my trembling fingers in his. He inhaled sharply. His other hand moved to my cheek. Slowly, so slowly I could have moved away. I didn't. His thumb brushed away a tear I didn't know had fallen. You're shaking, he whispered. I know. Are you afraid of me? I swallowed. Yes. And do you still feel the bond? Another tear slipped. Yes. His forehead touched mine, gently, reverently. Then let me be the one who earns you, he murmured. My throat closed, a sob fighting its way up. I don't want to forgive you, I said. You don't have to. I don't want to love you. You don't have to. My voice broke. I don't want to be alone anymore. He exhaled shakily, and that sound was agony and relief all at once. You never will be, he whispered against my skin. Not as long as I breathe. I closed my eyes. And for the first time since the night my world burned, I let myself lean into him. His arms came around me, not possessive, not claiming, just holding. Careful, gentle. Terrified of breaking me. And for the first time, I didn't pull away. I whispered into his chest, voice breaking but real. I don't forgive you. I know. And I don't love you. I know. But don't let go yet. I won't. His arms tightened. Our bond pulsed once. Won't. Right. Blood. And for the first time in my life, it didn't hurt. It healed.